Hey, Storytelling Ron, and I'm doing another Star Wars video just because I'm totally infatuated with it right now. Doing sci-fi and Star Warsy stuff. I want to talk about gear and modifying gear and like getting into gear because like now that my characters, just starting out doing Star Wars, and now that they're getting more into like their adventures, I'm starting to like, oh yeah, I got to start doing the magic items, and I do that obviously in D&D. But I got to start thinking about magic items and and basically modified gear. So, for instance, they had some slug throwers, which is basically the projectile rifles, like a musket kind of thing, or one shooter or whatever, a rifle, not a laser can or energy weapon. And so they have slug throwers and they're medium range, which I didn't know. I thought they would be long range, but the Tusken Raiders, the Sand People, have slug throwers, and they say they're medium range. But I was like, you just even based on the movies, they're long range. They're sniper. They shoot from far away. So I made theirs long range, and one of my characters did have a long range one because I played it that way initially. So she had an upgraded one. So I'm gonna say that the Sand People do have long range slug throwers, and so that's kind of like an upgrade. So they got them, and now they're going to try to sell some or whatever, use them as collateral trade against at the little at most alpha that they're at. But I'm also like, oh yeah, I gotta come up with more stuff for them to get, and I was really happy that I like a fusion lantern right here. Oh, I need to just show you something I do here. So as you can see in InDesign, and I'm not trying to sell InDesign because I wish they would lower their prices. Adobe, it's just kind of expensive, $50 a month. And there's $20 a month for one, I think, and then $50 for you get access to all, which I like, which I love, but that's still a lot of money. And I feel like they could do something. I feel like one should be $9.99 and then three for $20 maybe a month. Not, something a little more accessible. But and I keep telling them, by the way, when the thing pops up, I could ignore the review thing, but I keep saying too expensive. Lower the prices, but I don't do it anyway. So what's cool about this, is like I showed before, you can move around your text. Plopping in images is drag and drop, which is really nice. And I'm collecting all the little stats for the creatures on my file here because this is pretty much what I use for when I GM on my laptop. I pretty much pop all this up and have it all right where I want it. As far as I don't like to look, I don't like to have books and look around. I like to just have everything kind of close. But at the same time, I probably should do another video. I'm starting to get used to dice and how and just how simple you can just make. You can decide what the challenge is for something, and whether it's their perception roll or whether it's actually going up against someone or whether someone's shooting at them. It's pretty basic on. I can just throw whatever dice I feel like that character is. But I can do that later. But anyway, so I got the gear. So I'm gonna do something just to show you while I'm doing it. So I've got this. It's getting. I want to add some more stuff. So this is too much. I'm gonna go ahead and copy paste that, and then I'm going to take out most of the top and just make this my gear box of info. And I can move that around, and then this one I'll just go ahead and take the gear out of there, and just any more sort of. What I'm doing is I'm setting up. I'm just took notes of the adventure, the last adventure, and then what I'm assuming is going to happen in the next adventure, like what options they're going to have, like what storylines I'm going to give them to do for this, because this is the all the possible sandbox type adventures they can go on in the area. And then I know what they've done, and then this is kind of like, well, I'm going to start bringing up more stuff here, and then of course I want them to get some possible options for gear, and so I definitely played day and night. So when she was trying to salvage the vaporators, it's 4-hour blocks, whatever she rolled, and so in each of those is, if she rolled a high threat, I would have made another encounter, but I didn't want to make too many encounters, just the one I was planning on doing, and then maybe in one more, but. And then other than that, she would break things, or it cost her parts, or whatever. But so one thing was, it was at night. I definitely had them always have a penalty die because they did not have a lantern to use. So Now they have an option to buy a fusion land or get offered a fusion lantern. And also I'm going to get him a scanner, but I'm not going to give him a general scanner because I kind of want him to start, you know, a little lower tech. But the Jawas, because they want him to find the lost sandcrawler of their other clan or whatever, they're going to offer them a metal tech scanner. So it just sort of searches for metal and tech. That's all. So that'll kind of introduce them to scanners. And then under Jacob, who does the or Jacob, I don't know how to pronounce him, but whoever does the little red there, that means that there's stuff. Oh man! Whenever you see the little red thing there, that means that there's text, you know, outside the box. I got a bunch of reds here. Someone's not paying attention to what they're doing. My goodness, that's okay. All right. So for the gear, I've got the metal tech scanner. Then for Jacob, who's the Emporium kind of general, he wants the Womp Rat meat. He wants meat from them, food, and they had an issue with preserving the meat and stuff. So I thought, oh, he'll offer them some preserver sacks. You know, I was thinking salt, like a sack. I was just thinking bigger sackcloth with salt, so it preserves them. But I'm thinking, well, they'll have some low tech preserver sacks. So I'm thinking they'll have a sack with some salt in it, and then maybe like a little little low tech thing there that, you know, so that's 10 credits each. And so if they want to buy some of those, they can, which will preserve sort of a Womp Rat size, whatever you call it, for when you hunt something and you kill it and you have it. What do they call that? Well, anyway, whatever, game or whatever. Okay, then Chuga, they have some land speeder parts they got, so he'll probably do an offer to them. I'm gonna make this one kind of humorous, where you know, I'll make it sound like he's giving him a big mission, like go back to the farm, and he'll let him have the land speeder and a grav sled to go back to the farm, get the broken one that they left and salvaged, and then bring it back. And I'm gonna make it sort of scary, like, but it only takes so it took him a day of travel with a sandwalker animal, but it took him 3 days to get to the farm. So with this, it's only taking him like an hour per day, so 3 hours to get there, on the land speeder. So like, oh wow, that'd be quick. And I'll be kind of, you know, but I'm gonna make it like so easy, like go, they get it and they come back, boom, you know. I'm gonna just make it kind of humorous, like, whoa, that was so, you know, and they get the 500 credits if they do that one. Captain Zico here he's the piratey captain. Oh, what is this? Oh, never mind. So the serrated edge one, he's gonna get that from somebody. I was thinking about doing that for Booze, actually, who's the junkyard guy. That up here. Okay, enter. I like to put the little dots there just to remind me of what's what. Okay, and then he's going to offer. Now it says that's 50 credits in the book to do a serrated edge, and I'll talk about the gear thing. But I'm going to do 25 because I think in a small town, labor is cheap. Now parts is not cheap. I would try double the price based on the rarity. I looked at in the gear in the, you know, like the selling in the book, selling under gear. There's selling and trading and rarity and black market. So you can kind of get a grasp of like a generalization of what something would cost. And I think that's in the outer rim, these, you know, these small outposts. Actual hardware will be twice as expensive at least, but labor will be cheaper. And for me, the serrated edge, doing the serrated edge is labor. It's just the guy, you know, whatever, using a little, maybe he's got a little low tech machine that he does it on. But I'm thinking Booze will offer that for 25 credits instead of 50, which gives obviously a vicious 1, which is plus 10 to the roll of a crit on the crit table if you get a crit. That's a nice little low magic, you know, bonus that the Force user, she has a Vorpal blade, a knife, so that would probably help, you know, make her a little thrilled there. And then the other thing I'm going to offer, I think through Booze as well, because he's kind of the junkyard low tech guy. Now they have slug throwers, so I'm going to do slug thrower shells, and you know, 10 credits each, I think. So it's 10 credits each, and he'll offer them that, and it'll be either +1 damage, or I mean, it could be anything. It could be +1 damage, or you know, +1 bonus die, or the other one is maybe a minus to the crit. So you know, instead of doing, I think you need 4 to crit. Maybe this will only be 3. So +1 to crit, to crit. You know, these are different. Not all of them. One or the, you know, one. You know, give them options. And when they when they make a character, I'll just show you real quick. So they could write down slug thrower shell, and what I do is I have them do this, right? So let's say they do +1 damage. They buy 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then they could buy 5 of the other ones or whatever. But so when they use it, they decide to use one. They mark it off just with a little pencil, and if they buy some more, they can erase the pencil, and then they'll still have the circles there. So that's how I kind of do it for everything, like healing potions. I make them do like a heal potion or stim pack or whatever, and then how many zero? You got 3 of them, so 3 zeros, and then when you use one, just mark it off. So that's kind of the way I do that. So I think I might offer them this. See, so you can do things like that for the for doing like low magic, low tech. Start them with something. And I definitely like to do things where they use it up, especially at the beginning levels, or whatever low level stuff, because that way they get a feel for like getting stuff, but then they're not overpowered all the time. So that's one thing I'm going to do. And another cool thing about gear is in here is they have item qualities. I'll just quickly show you the book, but under here it says item qualities, and then they kind of show the different things there, like auto fire, breach, which is ignores 1 point of armor. Oh, these are whatever. 1 point of armor, right? Ignore 10 points of soak for every whatever. Breach. I thought that was pierce as well. Let me see what pierce. Maybe this ignores 1 point of soak. Oh, okay. If the weapon has more ranks of pierce than the target's total soak, it completely ignores the target's soak. So pierce is 1, and breach sounds very similar. Toughest armor. Whatever. Anyway, I'm all confused, but they sound the same to me. But I'll figure that out. You figure that out too. I don't want to do it here on the video. Actually, let me pause this and figure this out, and then. Okay, well, breach. I mean, I'm looking at armor, and it says armor has defense and soak, right? So it has 2 different things there. So the defense will add a penalty die. If you have 1 defense, it adds 1 penalty die to being hit, and then it also has soak, which takes away from the damage. And breach says breach ignores 1 point of armor for every rating of breach. So I guess that's defense. I don't know. Maybe there's some solution for that, but whatever. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I haven't come across breach. I think it's the larger weapons. I've come across pierce. There's superior, which is cool, and that if you make a weapon superior, that'll give it a +1 damage. If you make armor superior, that'll give it +1 soak or +1 defense or whatever. Less encumbrance. If you make a gear superior, you get the idea. So what's cool about all these qualities, there's a couple of pages here of stuff, and there's even more here, is that you can kind of add those to it, or to any gear or weapon to that obviously that it works with, makes sense with, to add like another modification. They got a section here on modifying things, and they have different things that you can add to modify weapons. So that's really cool. So that instead of giving them a whole new thing, or a whole new start getting them into especially junk shops, they'll trade them. They'll add obviously every item has a hard point, so it could have 2 hard points. So if you have a slug thrower, and they can offer them optics to help increase the range or increase the hit. You can add and don't forget about frag grenades. The guy used a frag grenade, that was cool. Maybe a tougher grenade, or maybe a more accurate grenade, or maybe a timer on the grenade. Those are things that are cool that you can add in the scanners. Scanner +1, scanner plus boost die or whatever. And then of course cybernetics. So it's really cool. It's like there's a lot of options here that you as the GM can offer them. And again, I would not offer them everything. I would pick a few things that you think they could use and offer those. I don't offer them, especially on Outer Worlds. I don't think that they could, like, just based on like the movie and the feel and the story, I don't feel like they should have a shopping list as much as what does the seller have to sell them, what's available for him to sell them. And if they get any ideas, obviously experienced players should have a list and know what they want to get, but where they can get it is another issue. And they have to obviously go to the more expensive Inner Worlds or whatever, the more high-tech worlds to get those things. But in the outer worlds, in the Edge of the Empire type world, obviously it's what is available. Oh, did I ever show this? It's kind of cool. The where's the camera? Mr. Coffee desktop warmer. Yeah, it's got a little heated pad there. It doesn't make it volcanic hot, but I guess that makes sense because I would probably accidentally burn myself if it was that hot. So it's just kind of a little more than lukewarm, but still better than it's always getting cold. Okay, so I guess that's kind of it for now. Just kind of excited, reading about this stuff, realizing, I got to do more gear, offer that to them. But again, they're at low level, so it's them learning, me learning, having fun doing it. They're pretty thrilled about it. I'm pretty excited. I'm still gonna do Dungeons and Dragons, don't worry. But I just going through some Star Wars stuff. But anyway, that's kind of my little jibba jab on gear, and you as a GM, kind of offering them a few things here and there and getting a little excited about their and really focus on what kind of gear they have and how low tech it is, and adding especially like when they go to if they ever go to the Imperial Spice Mine and the old Imperial Spice Mine, they're gonna find some stuff, and they're gonna find like enough padded armor to make one set, but they have to go back, take it back, and get hopefully get someone to make that and fit it correctly to them, and they'll get padded armor because you can't buy padded armor where they're at in the Outer Rims, but that'll be a cool little thing for them to get as well. And it looks stormtroopery too. It's gonna be kind of funny, but then I'm sure they'll adjust it so it doesn't look stormtrooper. But so that'll be cool. So that's kind of fun little stuff to add. I'm definitely going slow with them. Like they want to get one of them. The new guy wants to get a spaceship, go off the planet. But I'm like, just chill on that. You'll get that eventually. But you got to work your way up in my world, at least for beginners. And I'm a beginner GM, so I kind of want to work up to that. The next thing I want to do is vehicular combat. I want to see them on speeders and see how that plays out. Because you don't know it until you do it and have fun with it. But anyway, all right, that's it. Hope that was extra little stuff to get your brain going, because my brain is kind of going.